In the summer of 2013, self-published author Garrett Buhl Robinson spent some time talking with me about his semi-autobiographical novel Zoe in New York City.
Zoe is a coming-of-age story that takes you on a journey. A young man's traveling around the United States, hitchhiking and riding freight trains. And while he's traveling, he's writing letters to his friend Zoe. And in these letters, he's describing his adventures. It's filled with vivid imagery of the passing scenery. But he's coming to terms with himself. He's learning to accept responsibilities for his life as he ventures out on his own, fending for himself in the world, broadening his perspective while he makes his rite of passage into adulthood. And he's also coming to terms with his relationship with Zoe. Well, while I was traveling in 1992, there was quite a number of people that I was writing letters to. For the most part, I haven't seen those letters for over 20 years now. One of the persons that I was writing the letters to was a particular young lady. And I was recalling those letters while I was writing Zoe. But I wasn't particularly envisioning myself as writing the letters to her at that time. Often when I write, actually pretty much all the time when I write, I feel like I am writing to one particular person. Although I never try to envision who that person is. It's just a matter of trying to compose my thoughts in a way that communicate myself as clearly as possible and convey the emotion I wish to communicate, and so that it is understandable by someone else. And so I feel like it is a direct communication with another person, even if that person is just a figment of my imagination. And when I wrote Zoe, and whenever I write, I always have that figment of imagination of a person that I present before myself. All of my books have extremely long gestation period, just in my own thoughts. Ideas will I'll mull around them for quite some time. I'll write about them in my journals, just experimenting with them. And Zoe, I had written numerous times, that actual story, or portions of that story, since 1992. And it was in 2009, it just all fell together in the form that it did actually finally become Zoe, which I was immensely satisfied with. And I wrote it in pretty quickly in a short period of time, just drafted in less than a week. But then of course I do extensive revisionary process, and so I worked on revisions for at least a year after that, and pretty extensive revisions as well too. Working in the casino has been interesting. As I mentioned when we talked on the phone, I'm working as a porter on the graveyard shift. The layout of the floors is designed to be confusing. All the walls are mirrors that scramble a person's orientation and magnify the excitement, because whenever anything happens, whenever people lift their arms up in celebration, or whenever lights start flashing jackpot, it's not one event, but a myriad of reflections of that event. people do look like they're having a lot of fun, which is good. But sometimes it is saddening because I'll arrive at my shift at midnight and see people sitting at the machines, and then when I leave in the morning at 8, they're still sitting at the same machines, pushing the same buttons, pulling the same levers, feeding money into the mechanical devices that ring and ding and flash and respond. As I weave through the players, I'm pulling my handle for money too. But the handle I'm pulling is attached to a broom. There may be no sweepstakes, but there's definitely plenty of sweeping. And although the coin wrappers I gather are empty, I get a steady check at the end of every week.